Hey guys, welcome to another studio vlog. I hope the sound quality is okay. I'm shooting on a new phone that my husband got me for my birthday because my GoPro doesn't seem to pick up voice very well. I guess GoPros are meant for like outdoor activities, so it's supposed to pick up everything, so I hope the sound quality is better on this. A lot of people have been asking for advice on starting an Etsy shop and how to get orders and a bunch of stuff, so I figured I'd do a video about things that I wish I knew before I started an Etsy shop, and I guess kind of a little Q&A answering some of the questions that I posted in the community tab. And I'll show a little bit of order stuff and packing today's orders later too. First, I have some stuff that I ordered from Amazon that I wanted to unpack with you guys. So in Studio Vlog 7, I had mentioned how my polishing cloths are technically the only thing that aren't really eco-friendly because they come wrapped in this little plastic wrap. Here, I'll show you. They come in this plastic wrap, and I had found one Etsy shop last year that didn't have them each individually wrapped in plastic wrap, but they disappeared. But I was searching on Amazon a few days ago, and I was actually able to find ones that I think are individually plastic wrapped. So these are them here. Okay, cool. So yeah, they don't have individual plastic wrap. That's awesome. So now when I pack them, I'll still pack them the same way. Like I'll stick them in this little glassine, but now it's just no more plastic in the packaging. That's awesome. I'm excited. I'll link these down below if you guys need polishing cloths. I also got these drawer organizers. Where are my scissors? The ones I usually use are behind the camera, so I don't want to mess up the camera. Yeah, if you've seen the drawer where I keep the glassine and the polishing cloths in, all my different size glassine envelopes, it gets kind of messy and everything slides around every time I open the drawer. So I got these little drawer organizers. So these are little drawer organizers I got. They're clear, like 4 inches by 4 inches. I don't think it's gonna fit all of the glassine sizes I have because I have 3 sizes, and one of the large sizes is pretty big. Let me put the camera in. Here they are. Came in a set of 6. So there's all 6. Let me show you what I mean about the drawer. Like, these are the old polishing cloths that I usually order, but now I'm not gonna order those anymore. So yeah, all of my glassine envelopes, I have the medium, small, and the large back here, and they kind of end up all over the place. So hopefully this will help make everything a lot neater. So here's what it looks like after. It looks a lot better. These don't fit flat, but I actually have to fold the crease anyways when I package orders, so maybe one day I can just spend time creasing all of them and then just laying them flat, but it definitely looks a lot better. And I found the business card for these glassines because some of you guys ask where I get them from. It's from an Etsy shop called Anastasia Marie. Okay, now on to the things that I wish I knew before I started Etsy. I have little notes down here, so if I'm looking down a lot, that's why. So my first tip is to not use your personal email when you start your Etsy. You may have created an account for normal shopping, but if you plan on selling items on Etsy, just think of your shop name and come up with an email for it. You can just use a Gmail. You don't have to buy a domain and make it like info@ and then your shop name or hello@ whatever. Just make it your shop name at gmail.com. So you want to make it look as professional as possible from the get-go and have an email that customers can reach out to you that isn't your personal email. And also every time that you get orders or notifications from Etsy, it's going to go to that email. My second tip is to add more than one photo to your listings. When I first started my Etsy shop, I only sold bracelets, and I would just take one shot of the bracelet and that's it. A customer can't really get a feel for an item if it's just one photo. You need to get different angles, you need to model it, you need to make it look appealing, and that helps them feel like the item is actually in front of them, like they're in a store and they can see that item. Although I did a really good job at editing the photo, making sure that it was a clear photo and that it was a bright photo, the customer can't really get an idea of what the item actually looks like or what it would look like on them with just one photo. So a good thing is to stage the item with other things around it so that they can get a better idea of a size. Like if you make a keychain, don't just take a picture of the keychain. I've actually had this issue too, like people thought that my keychains were smaller than they actually were. But take a picture of a keychain on a hand so that they can see what it looks like compared to a hand. Take a picture of it on actual car keys so that they can see what it looks like compared to the size of a car key. You can even put like a quarter next to it or a ruler so that they can get the actual size, because a lot of people on Etsy don't read and they just look at the pictures. So if you make it as clear as possible within the pictures, the size of the item, then you're not going to get any bad reviews, people complaining about the size of the item. And if you make jewelry, it's a good idea to try to have someone model the jewelry, or you can model it and have someone take pictures of it yourself. Like I sell cuff bracelets, so I have a picture of a model that's wearing the cuff, or a few cuff bracelets so that they can see what it looks like on. If it's stud earrings, put your stud earrings on so that people can see how big the studs are compared to like an average sized ear. If it's a necklace, put it on so they can see where it lays. Although it lays on everyone differently, they'll get a better idea of what it looks like on them. And another thing in relation to this is to make sure that you're as descriptive as possible in your description. That's what it's for. One of my first bracelets was a Be Kind to Every Kind bracelet on my Peace and Love shop, and I don't think it was this vague, but I put something along the lines of Be Kind to Every Kind cuff bracelet. That's not informative enough. That's not telling the customer anything other than what the bracelet says. So instead of just saying a Be Kind to Every Kind bracelet, I can say that this is a hand-stamped Be Kind to Every Kind bracelet made of tarnish-free and water-resistant stainless steel. It measures 6 inches long by 1/4 inch wide and fits wrists up to about 7.5 inches and is completely adjustable. And if you use the same packaging for all of your things, you can also mention the packaging. Like I try really hard to use only eco-friendly materials for my packaging, and I think a lot of people appreciate that and want to support shops that do ship with eco-friendly materials, so I mentioned that in the description. My third tip is to not buy your shipping supplies and your packaging materials from places like Walmart, the dollar store, Michael's, that cost way too much money. I made this mistake when I first started my shop, and I used to go to Walmart almost weekly just to find bubble mailers, and it was a pain in the butt and they cost a lot of money, and a lot of the times they would run out of the ones that I needed, so I'd be panicking and having to go somewhere else to find what I needed just to package my items, and it's just way too much stress, way too much money. You're wasting time, you're wasting gas. So just order them. If you don't want to get like the ones that I get from Eco Enclosed, you can just order your own on Amazon. These are the ones that I used to get from Walmart, and I'm pretty sure they were like $1 or $2 per pack. And now the envelopes I use are easily like 30 cents per envelope, and that's for pricier envelopes because I get the eco-friendly ones from Eco Enclosed that's biodegradable, and that's just a choice that I make because I want to make sure that everything is as eco-friendly as possible with my packaging. The fourth thing is kind of related to my last one about the shipping materials, and it's to really plan out what it is that you want for your packaging and think about if you want your stuff to be eco-friendly or not. So now all of the supplies that I use is paper-based, and I just wish that I would have taken that step to research on more eco-friendly supplies in the beginning, because I still have, like I just showed you these ones from Walmart, I still have these, and now I'm kind of stuck with them because I've put in all of the descriptions that all of my materials is eco-friendly and I don't really want to use them, and it's kind of money wasted. The fifth one is kind of a huge one, and this is an issue specifically for Etsy, and that's make sure that you collect your customers' emails or try to find a way to ask them for their emails. The issue with Etsy is that it's not like an actual website where you log on to the website and you see a little pop-up come up saying sign up to our newsletter to get 15% off your first purchase. So because Etsy didn't have that, I'm like, oh well, I just can't get my customers' emails, and I just left it at that. But then I realized that you can still ask for your customer's email even though there's not a sign up form. So what I have on my shop is a little graphic that says something like, hey, sign up to the Potty Mouth crew to get 10% off of your first order and to stay updated on the latest news and new products or sales or whatever. So at the very top of my descriptions, I have that newsletter sign up that they can go to, and it leads to a web page that's actually free from MailChimp. If you create a MailChimp account, they let you create an email sign up page that all of your customers can go on to and type their email to sign up to your email list. And you can set it up to automatically send them a discount code, and then their email is added to your email list. And then whenever you're ready to send emails, you can send emails to all of them. So I recommend, if you're putting all of your time and effort into trying to get new customers, please add this to your Etsy shop so that hopefully they can sign up for your emails, because you don't want to work so hard at selling items and not really get return customers. Just because Etsy doesn't let you create a pop-up to collect emails doesn't mean that you still can't collect them. Also, don't be going into your order history and just looking at your customers' emails and adding them to your email list. I've had some Etsy shops do this to my email when I never signed up for anything, and that's technically not allowed. You can't reach out to people who haven't actually signed up to your email list. That's spam, and I guess your email can probably get blocked. My sixth tip is to create a thank you card. I used to pack my little We Care card and my business card and a packing slip with all of my orders, and I would just write like a simple little thank you note. But other than that, there wasn't really anything that was actually helpful for my customer, or telling them how much I appreciate them, or letting them know that I care about them, and that if there's any issues with their order, that they can reach out to me. So you don't have to order anything fancy online or big bulks. I just design these in Photoshop and print them on craft paper. But it says here, thank you for supporting a small business. We hope you love your handmade item. If there's any issue, that they can reach out to me. So I don't want a customer to receive an order, and if something's actually wrong, for them to just go and leave a bad review or not reach out to me. I also put here to find and tag us on Instagram at Potty Mouth Jewelry, because I really like to see people get their orders and I want them to tag me on Instagram, and it also kind of reminds me like, oh, I can follow this person. I have the join the Potty Mouth crew and get 10% off your next purchase. That is if they haven't signed up for it already by seeing it in the description on Etsy. This also helps make your brand look more professional and adds extra branding to your packaging. Even though Etsy is great for reaching out to a bunch of potential customers, the thing is, a lot of people don't really realize that they're buying from an actual person, an actual seller, an actual brand. They just think of everything as being from Etsy, and I hear it all the time. Like, I'll compliment someone on their jewelry or their bag, something they got, and I'll be like, oh, where'd you get that from? They're like, oh, I got it from Etsy. And a lot of people do that, and I've done that too. And it's like, wow, like I spent all of this time and effort trying to advertise myself on Etsy and get customers and send out orders, and they don't even remember me. They just think of me as Etsy as a whole. So try to just include stuff like this in your packages and brand everything as much as possible so that they can remember that you're an actual brand within Etsy and not Etsy. The seventh tip that I have related to branding is to create your own branded stickers that you can put on the outside of your packaging. A lot of you have probably seen my boxes where I put these little circle labels on the boxes. So that's for the inside. So obviously I try to brand the stuff that's inside the packaging, but you can also brand the outside of your packaging. So then when they get your order, they don't have to guess who it's from. They can see your logo or whatever you decide to put on there that has to do with your branding and get excited about your packaging. And it helps add to the excitement of receiving a handmade item, and it makes them feel more special. So I recently created these stickers. I showed making them in the last vlog, but this one's like a Happy Mail sticker, and lightly in the background, it's easier to see in person, but lightly in the background it says Potty Mouth, so it has my brand name on them. This one's just kind of to get them excited about the packaging. And the next one is just a thank you sticker that I put on the back part of the envelope where they open it, so it kind of looks like it seals them. So it's thanking them for supporting my shop before they've even opened the packaging. And I think that's just a nice touch and helps your customer realize that you care about them. Now I'm going to answer some of the questions that I got for this video when I let you guys know that I was making this video. Okay, so the first question is saying, I've put off starting a shop for the fact that they have all the fees such as listing fee, etc. Does that have too much of an effect on what you get per purchase? So a lot of people get scared when they sign up for Etsy when they see all of the fees, because they do have quite a few fees, but a lot of people don't realize that if you have a really small shop and you're not getting that many orders a week, it's actually more expensive to get your own website and host it by like Shopify because of their monthly fee. So even though Shopify may have less fees overall, because of the cost to use the Shopify app, it may end up being more per month. Etsy has a 5% transaction fee, a 20 cents listing fee every time you make a listing and sell that listing, and a 3% plus 25 cents processing fee. Shopify, on the other hand, for their basic plan is $29 per month and 2.9% plus 30 cents per order. I'm going to put up a calculator on the screen, and that'll help you figure out whether it's better for you to do Etsy or Shopify. And in this calculator, you can put the average amount that you get per order, like the retail price per order, about how many orders you get per month, and it'll help you figure out if it's cheaper to do it on Etsy and on Shopify. So for about the number of orders that I get on Etsy, I don't consider myself a very big shop, and it's actually not that expensive, and not that much more expensive for me to sell on Etsy than it is to sell on Shopify. If you look at my Etsy statistics, about 40% of the orders that I get are still coming from Etsy, and that's a pretty big chunk of money. Like, the amount of money that I've made in a month, if I wasn't doing it on Etsy, it would be 40% less. So I still consider it pretty valuable to be on Etsy's platform and to get some recognition on Etsy and find more customers on Etsy and just pay the little extra a month because of that, because otherwise my revenue would be 40% less if it wasn't on Etsy. So basically, if you're a shop whose average order is about $15 per order and you're not really selling more than a dozen orders per week, I would recommend just starting out on Etsy, because if you're very, very brand new, it's going to be really hard to direct traffic to like your Shopify or to your own personal website because you're new and not really anyone knows you. So the benefit of Etsy is that more people will be able to find you, because when they're searching, you may have the possibility of finding your item. If you're a bigger shop and you're getting about 100 orders a week on Etsy, then yeah, it's probably cheaper to host it on Shopify or on your own website. But the thing you have to look at is your analytics. You have to see how much of the traffic you're bringing in yourself. If you're only bringing about 15 to 20% of the traffic, or even 30, 40, 50%, then you kind of still have to work on your branding and building your own customer base. Because if you just remove your Etsy all of a sudden and transfer over to your Shopify, then you're losing about half of the potential customers that you could get every single month. So if you're in a point where you're really not liking all of the fees that you're getting charged on Etsy because you are a bigger shop and it does cost more, just look at your traffic and see how much customers you are bringing in. And if you could bring in some more, then just wait it out, stay on Etsy, and try to build up your customer base in your social media so that you can drive more traffic yourself. And once you get to the point where you're bringing in like 70, 80, 90% of the traffic to your Etsy, then that's probably the best time to transfer over to a Shopify, because Etsy isn't really helping you get new customers. The next question I have is, how and how often do you pay yourself? What percentages do you take for yourself, save for taxes, and business investments? So because I'm the only one that runs my business, I still run my business as a sole proprietorship. And also, I don't make that much in a year to make it beneficial to do an LLC or be under an S Corp. When you're a sole proprietor, you can basically take out money anytime, because there isn't a distinction between business and employee, because you are the business and the employee. It's just one person. And my income is basically how much I profit every single month. So what I do is I calculate my profit every month by taking the gross revenue and deducting the expenses, and whatever is left over is basically my income. But I don't try to take all of the income because obviously I want money to be able to invest into buying new products or shipping supplies or materials. So from the profits that month, I just take out whatever I need to be able to pay my bills. And luckily I've been fortunate enough the past few years to be able to make enough profit to cover my bills and have some left over for investing into new things. For the taxes, I basically calculate what I expect my profit to be that month and save about 15 to 20% of it. So then when it comes to pay taxes, I have that money in my account. Also, I should note that I try to never let my account go below a certain number in case some extra expenses do come up. And this is almost like having a savings. You put money aside so that if an emergency comes up, you don't have to worry and you have money for that emergency. So I do the same thing with my business. Whenever I pull my profits for my income, I just try to make sure that I'm not pulling too much money and that I'm still above that minimum number that I've set for myself so that I know if something comes up within the business, I have money to pay for it. And also, if you have a business credit card and you need to make a big purchase, then use your business credit card. Like my Glowforge was one of my biggest expenses and I did not have the money outright to pay for that. I used a credit card to pay for it, and then over the course of several months, I was slowly drawing my profits to then pay the credit card. The next question is, how did you decide what you were going to be selling? So when I started my Etsy shop, I was making bracelets. I don't really know how I decided to make bracelets. They were just like beaded bracelets with like, not macrame cord, forgot what it's called, like the waxed cotton cord. I think they were like mandala bracelet. No, not mandala. Mala bead bracelets. I don't even remember. It was so long ago, but I think I just saw them on Pinterest and wanted to start making them, and they were looking pretty cute. So I decided to open my Etsy and open them. And I had my Etsy open for months before I got my first sale. Like, bless the guy who ordered a little mala bead bracelet from my shop. I was so excited when that order came in, and that's basically what kind of sparked my passion for Etsy. Once I got that first order, I was like, wow, I can sell something. I made something that someone liked and I can make money off of it. So I really did start Etsy as a hobby. I was working full time and I was just always a creative person. And I was like, well, why not try to sell something? Maybe something will come from it eventually. But like I mentioned in the tips from earlier, I had like one picture for that bracelet. I had a pretty generic description. So seriously, bless the guy who ordered that bracelet, because he just gave me a chance. And sometimes that's how it is. Like, you'll be making a lot of listings and trying really hard. And when you think of it, when you go on Etsy and there's a shop that has just a few items and no reviews, you're kind of iffy about that shop and you don't know if you should get something from it because there's no reviews to know if that's something that you should buy or a good investment. So in the beginning, it pretty much is luck, and you just have to hope that someone will give you a chance. But just make sure that when you get that first order or first few orders, that you put as much love and care into it and try to leave a good impression, because once you get one bad review, then you're kind of screwed. No one's gonna want to buy stuff from you if you have a 1-star review on Etsy. So yeah, my first product was those mala bead bracelets, but I didn't really like making them. Like, I didn't like the end. If you've seen those bead bracelets, they have like those adjustable cord ends and you have to tie like a really fancy knot and then like use a lighter to melt the end so that it doesn't unravel. So I just didn't like making something that I felt like someone could break and unravel, and I always want to make sure that I'm selling something that I know is really good quality and is not going to break when someone gets it. And that's when I transitioned to hand stamped bracelets. I was like, how fragile can metal be? Like, it's metal, it's a cuff bracelet that's adjustable, so let me do that instead. Plus I like the idea of being able to do whatever phrases I wanted. The next question is how to get sales. So all of the tips that I mentioned earlier should help you get sales. Like, you just have to make your shop look really professional. You have to have really good images that are staged or modeled. You have to have really good descriptions. And you have to let customers know what it is that you have to offer, what makes your shop unique. If you have any specific values, like mine, I try really hard to use sustainable materials and eco-friendly materials, and I think a lot of people that order from me appreciate that. I also use stainless steel for all of my metals, personally because I am allergic to some metals. My mom is extremely allergic to some metals, so I wanted to offer a really good quality metal that a lot of people with allergies could wear. And I wanted to offer something that people could wear in water because I am the laziest jewelry wearer. I don't like having to take my jewelry off all the time. So if I can wear it in water, then that is like the best. Also in the beginning, like I mentioned, you probably don't have any reviews and some people are reluctant to support your shop. So in the very beginning, like just reach out to your friends, reach out to some family members, let them know that you made an Etsy shop and if they could please support you on there, and tell them to leave you a review. And once you have some good reviews and your listings are very good quality, you have very good pictures, good packaging, then the customers will follow after that. Also, if you have some extra money, you can invest on some Etsy marketing. Etsy marketing basically does all of the work for you. You just decide how much money you want to invest in marketing a day, and you can just do something really low, like $3, $5, and that really did help me gain some sales in the beginning, because then when people were looking up hand-stamped jewelry or custom gifts for friends or whatnot, then Etsy was showing my jewelry at the top. The next question is, would you ever consider getting your own website to curb the fees from Etsy? So I actually, for Peas and Love, I actually do have my own Shopify website, and that's where I really started my branding for Peas and Love. I worked with some influencers to get a lot of sales, and I made custom collections with those influencers, but after their collections became less popular, less new, I wasn't really getting as many sales. And I noticed that my Etsy platforms were just getting sales without putting much work into it. Like, I know that sounds kind of lazy, but when you have your own website, you really do have to try to drive a lot of traffic to that website yourself, or you're not really gonna get any orders. On my Shopify website, I barely link that anywhere and I don't put much effort into it, so I probably get like a couple orders a week, while my Etsy is still getting a good amount of orders, like enough for me to be able to live off of it. So I think it just really depends on your audience, how big of a customer base you have. If you have a lot of followers and a lot of people who are willing to support you, and you think you're gonna get a ton of orders every single week, then I do recommend just having your own website, because once you reach the point where you're getting 100+ orders a week, you do save a lot of money having your own website like Shopify. And thanks to you guys, I'm actually getting a lot more views on my Etsy shop. So I just went on the analytics a couple days ago while I was thinking up this video, and I realized that I'm getting about 60% of my traffic on Etsy from my YouTube, which is crazy because my Etsy, I think I only used to drive about 30% of the traffic by myself. So if that continues and I start to drive like maybe 80% of the traffic myself and start to get a lot of orders just because of my YouTube or my Instagram growing, then I probably will transfer to like my own pottymouthjewelry.com website where you guys can buy your orders. So I hope those tips and answering those questions were helpful. I'm not the biggest expert on this stuff yet. I'm still learning like a lot of you guys. I'm growing. I've had my business for like 3 to 4 years, and you kind of like just learn as you go and do a lot of research, and YouTube has helped me a lot. So I hope any of the advice that I had to offer was helpful. But I still have a few orders to make today, so let's get on to making some of those.